What if I told you that our planet's thunderstorms are making more than just rain? What if they're also creating its dark twin, antimatter? It sounds like it's been ripped straight from a sci-fi novel, but it's real. Scientists have found the evidence. Our sky, in its most violent moments, becomes a factory for one of the most exotic substances in the universe. And that leads to an unsettling question. What would happen if the tiny trickle of antimatter our storms create turned into a torrent? What if a true storm of this stuff rained down on us? Section 1. A quick primer on antimatter. Before we get to the heart of the storm, we need to know what we're dealing with. So, what exactly is times antimatter? Put simply, it's a mirror image of the normal matter that makes up you, me, and everything we see. For every kind of fundamental particle of matter we've discovered, there seems to be an antimatter counterpart. The electron has a positron, it has the exact same mass, just an opposite positive charge. The proton has an antiproton, same mass, but a negative charge. It's a perfect spooky symmetry written into the laws of physics. Now, the most famous thing about antimatter is what happens when it meets regular matter. They don't just bump into each other, they annihilate. The two particles vanish in an instant, and their entire mass gets converted into a flash of pure energy, usually high-energy gamma rays. This isn't like a chemical reaction or even a nuclear one. It's the most efficient and violent process known to science, with nearly 100% of the mass converting into energy. This might sound impossibly exotic, but you've probably encountered antimatter without even realizing it. In hospitals, PET scans, that's positron emission tomography work, by introducing a tiny, harmless amount of a substance that emits positrons. When those positrons meet the electrons in your body, they annihilate, producing gamma rays that a detector can see. This creates a detailed map of what's happening inside you. So, antimatter is very real. The only trick is that it doesn't stick around. In a universe overflowing with matter, any antimatter that appears is almost instantly destroyed. Section 2. The Sky's Secret Particle Accelerator. So, if our universe is basically designed to destroy antimatter on sight, how on earth is it being made inside a thunderstorm? For a long time, nobody had a clue this was even happening. The discovery came as a shock, and it was thanks to a telescope that wasn't even looking at us. NASA's Fermi Gamma Ray Space Telescope was built to watch black holes and exploding stars. But as it orbited, it also pointed down at our own planet, and it saw something baffling. Brief, incredibly powerful bursts of gamma rays shooting up from the tops of thunderstorms. They were named terrestrial gamma ray flashes, or TGFs. It's now estimated that around 500 of them happen every single day, somewhere on Earth, with most going completely undetected. Scientists soon realized these flashes were the key. Inside a thunderstorm, the conditions are, to say the least, electric. Powerful air currents separate charged particles, creating enormous electric fields that are strong enough to make lightning. But sometimes these fields get so powerful they do something else entirely. They can grab loose electrons and accelerate them upwards to nearly the speed of light, creating a runaway cascade of high-energy electrons, a particle avalanche. As these ultra-fast electrons zip past air molecules, they get deflected and release their energy as a flash of gamma rays. That's the TGF, but here's the crucial next step. If one of those gamma rays has enough energy and passes close to the nucleus of an atom in the air, Einstein's famous equation, E equals mc squared, takes over. The gamma ray's energy converts directly into mass, creating a pair of particles, one normal electron and its antimatter twin, a positron. The evidence for this was compelling. The Fermi telescope detected a specific energy signature that is the telltale sign of annihilation, a spike of gamma rays at around 511,000 electron volts. That's the precise amount of energy released when an electron and a positron meet and destroy each other. This was strong evidence that thunderstorms on Earth act like natural particle accelerators, producing positrons, a form of antimatter, and launching them upwards. Section 3. The what if, a downpour of annihilation. We've established the mind-bending truth. Our planet makes its own antimatter. It's a tiny amount gone in a flash, but curiosity demands we ask, what if it wasn't? What if some bizarre cosmic event caused a real storm of antimatter not to shoot up into space, but to fall down on us? First, let's be clear, this wouldn't be rain as we know it. Antimatter couldn't form liquid droplets because the moment it touched the air's regular matter, annihilation would start. A more plausible, though still deeply fictional, scenario is a dense cloud of antimatter particles like a fine, shimmering dust drifting down through the atmosphere. The show would start high above us. As this cloud entered the upper atmosphere, it would meet molecules of nitrogen and oxygen. The result would be a silent, terrifying light show. The air itself would become a war zone of annihilation, glowing with the fury of gamma rays. It might look like a new kind of aurora, but instead of being beautiful and harmless, it would be a lethal curtain of high-energy radiation. As this dust of positrons and antiprotons fell, the annihilation would get more intense. It wouldn't feel wet or cold. It would be a storm of pure energy. Every particle of normal matter it touched dust motes, ice crystals. Water vapor would be instantly converted into energy. The air would become a superheated, electrically charged plasma. There'd be no thunder, just a constant, pervasive hiss of gamma rays and a shower of other particles. Now, imagine that storm reaching the ground over a city. An antimatter raindrop wouldn't splash. The moment it touched a building, both the antimatter and an equal amount of the surface would just vanish, converted into a burst of radiation. A building wouldn't exactly crumble. It's more like it would be unmade from the top down, atom by atom, in a furious sparkle of annihilation. The reality is even more chaotic, as the initial annihilation would create a spray of secondary particles, spreading the destruction. A forest wouldn't burn. The trees and the soil would be systematically erased in silent, brilliant flashes. If it hit the ocean, it would cause a catastrophe, as huge amounts of water were instantly converted to energy, triggering a titanic explosion of superheated steam and radiation. This wouldn't be a weather event, it would be a regional sterilization event. Section 4. The sheer power of annihilation. To really wrap your head around the horror of this scenario, we have to talk numbers. Annihilation is by an almost absurd margin the most powerful energy source there is. Let's take a single raindrop's worth of antimatter. An average raindrop has a mass of about 50 milligrams. If a 50 milligram drop of antimatter annihilated with 50 milligrams of normal matter, the energy released would be staggering. Using E equals mc squared, that 100 milligrams of total mass would convert into roughly 9 trillion joules of energy. That number probably doesn't mean much on its own. So let's put it in perspective. That's equivalent to the explosive force of about 2.2 kilotons of TNT. The nuclear bomb that devastated Hiroshima was around 15 kilotons. This means that just 7 of these antimatter raindrops would release the same energy as that bomb. Now imagine a drizzle, a light shower, a full-blown thunderstorm. A storm that released just 1 kilogram of antimatter, about the weight of a bag of sugar, would annihilate with a kilogram of air, water, and earth, unleashing an explosive force of around 43 megatons. That's in the same league as the Tsar Bomba, the most powerful nuclear weapon ever detonated. But unlike a bomb that explodes from one point, this would be a continuous, widespread cataclysm happening everywhere the rain fell. It wouldn't just level a city, it would scour the very bedrock it was built on, leaving behind a glowing radioactive crater. The sort of an antimatter storm is pure nightmare fuel, a salty experiment in ultimate destruction. Luckily for us, the antimatter our planet creates is a faint whisper, not a roar, a testament to the extreme physics hidden in the clouds, but not a threat. And maybe that's the most incredible takeaway. We don't have to look to distant galaxies to find some of the most extreme physics in the universe. Our own planet is a natural laboratory. It houses giant particle accelerators in its skies that forge the universe's most volatile substance. It's a reminder that even in a world we think we understand, there are still profound secrets hiding in plain sight, waiting in the heart of a storm. What other impossible truths are out there, waiting for us to find them, and how many are right above our heads? If you enjoy pondering the universe's biggest and strangest questions, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what we explore next. And let me know in the comments, what cosmic mystery do you think we should investigate?